Oh! Do it again, do it again, do it again! Oh! Oh!
All right, what's happening now that we got that out of our system? Let me tell you a little bit about what stands behind me, why they're here, and why they are now part of our collection. You guys probably well know what this is. This is a typical S13, but it's out of grandma's garage. This thing is immaculate. The engine is basic. It's an automatic. We'll let Alex kind of get into all the details on this in terms of what the vast majority of S13s are available in the States and in Japan. This thing has got 0 miles on it. This car to my left is probably something you're not familiar with seeing. For me, this has been on my radar for a very long time. I have been looking for the cleanest RX4 I can get my hands on. It's a 1973 Mazda. It's essentially a 2-rotor. It's an automatic, 0 modifications outside of a hideous exhaust, and bone stock wheels, tires, suspension, interior. And like the Hako that we have, I was able to find one from its original owner. This car has never seen a retail sale until we purchased it. I saw it coming in, and I'm like, oh my God. I immediately showed it to Alex, and I'm like, dude, this is what I've been looking for. Of course I wanted a manual transmission. They don't exist. Most of the manual transmissions will have been modified. They'll have wheels, tires, lowering springs. The odds of someone doing that to an automatic are unlikely. So with the help from Hirasan, our friend in Japan that helps us acquire all of our Japanese cars, he was very instrumental in bidding on this car, and we won it at auction, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, so stand by. That's just a strut. I think it's a strut for a body mount.
I don't know. Mind your mirrors, they're way up there. Didn't your mama used to tell you to mind your mirrors?
Mind your mirrors. I think it was manners. Sounds similar.
Well, we know that never worked for you.
Mind your manners. Yeah, that's definitely coming from that side, and it sounds like it might be a strut.
Hey, but it doesn't do it when you turn left.
We'll just keep it turned.
Only when you go straight.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah, right. She got some roll.
Yeah, she's rolling good.
Right? Baby rolls. Oh man, that
she
was
kicks into gear.
Yeah. Oh, and downshifts too.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh!
That was nice. Oh, I love it.
Oh.
It's just...
Do it again, do it again, do it again! That 12A power, man.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh. It's like when you least expect it. It's so inappropriate.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Oh! Oh my God! That was loud! Oh, the best ever, man.
Seriously, first impressions, love the car. Love it.
Dude, it's fun.
It's quick.
It's fun.
For a little automatic. Come on, let's see how this one does.
This car is clean, dude.
Let's take its apex.
Yeah. Oh, that's vinyl-y.
So this car
is another automatic.
I know, all these automatics, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we have a drivetrain for this one.
Yeah, but that's how you get a good deal on them.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah. Not only is it why you get a good deal on them as a point of purchase, right? But you get a car that's usually been well taken care of when it's an auto.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Now I didn't put gas in this one. Yeah, and I
go ahead.
Okay.
Just under half.
Okay. It was cool. I got a chance to see underneath of it while it was on the truck, and it's really clean underneath.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it's got some replacement parts. So it looks like they went through the front suspension. Might have sat outside because I believe this is a respray car, right? Or no?
Yes.
It is a respray car.
Yeah. A dark blue car.
Yeah. No, the color is awesome. Even though I wouldn't have been mad about blue, but it was probably weathered.
Great little car.
I agree. This is a sweet car. Man, it's clean.
Yeah, very, very
I can't get over this interior. It's beautiful in here. The seats are creaky, vinyl, squeaky.
So first off, it's very rare to find one in this condition. This car has had some touch-up work done on it, but for the most part has retained the vast majority of its original paint. It's had a few blow-ins here and there, but it's never been crashed. The underside of this car, clearly it lived indoors the vast majority of its life, because outside of just a tiny bit of surface rust, no rust whatsoever. My plan in acquiring one of these and adding this to the collection for Just Driven was to do kind of like what we did to the Hako, and that is add some flares to it, maybe put a 3-rotor in it, make it into a 5-speed, maybe even a 6-speed manual trans, get it to pushing about 350, 400 to the wheels. But then I looked at it, and I keep looking at it, and outside of just a tiny bit of little bit of bubbling on the bumpers are really due for their rechrome, and I'm going to take care of all that. The rest of the stainless, the moldings, everything on this car, they're just absolutely perfect. The wheels, they're original and they look brand new. These fender well moldings are immaculate. They're perfect. Could you imagine having to cut those or remove those so we can install flares? Now I'm having doubts. Do I even really want to do what we did to the Hako to this car? It's really got me really puzzled. James and I were blown away at how well this little automatic performs. It actually power shifts and chirps second gear in an automatic. Now the big question is what do we do? Do we actually make some cuts to these perfect fenders, this virgin quarter panel? I mean, look at the stainless steel. Look at all the moldings. Look at this thing, it's perfect. Do I really want to destroy that? No. The interior on this car, oh my God. It is absolutely gorgeous. And as you can see, completely original. They're really attractive gauges. And in this particular car, you know, cars of this vintage, the dashboards are shrunk, they're cracked. To find one like this is unheard of. To see a dash and a center console and a headliner with a headliner console from the factory, all your power window switches are in perfect shape. Outside of a little bolster wear on this seat, that's the only damage. And that could be easily rectified with just some upholstery work on just the actual material portion. This car could be put back to perfect condition with very little money. I mean, it's done 30,000 original kilometers. It's insane. You just don't see stuff like this. It doesn't exist. Here's the big question. What are we going to do with it? We're going to keep it. We're going to covet it. We're going to call it my precious. And we're going to go from there. I'm going to drive it. I'm going to enjoy it. I really just kind of wanted to show this car off to you guys. We're really excited to have this be a part of our collection. We're still in the search for an early Toyota. We may end up pulling the trigger on an earlier Celica. We've had them in the past. We have a few mid-'80s and late '80s all-track turbo Celicas. And I'm going to hand this over to Alex, who's going to kind of go into detail a lot more about the S13. So I hope you enjoyed our RX4. If you've stuck around this long, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We really read every feedback, every comment you guys give us. We like to respond and be a part of that conversation.
All right, so we finally got one in the building. This is our new to us S13 Coupe. We've been seeing these chassis pop up at the Apex USA building. This thing is stupid clean. It's not what you'd expect. The car is a CA18DE, so that is a naturally aspirated 1.8 liter, makes about 130 horsepower. It's surprisingly peppy for being a 1.8 liter. This car is an S13 Silvia Q's, so it has the twin projector headlights that are glass. There is also an option for a 3 projector, and then there is the iconic brick headlights, which is kind of just like a halogen setup. It looks like a brick because they're just 2 sections within that headlight. That headlight's actually super sick. This whole front end is awesome. It's all metal, metal hood, metal fenders, OEM bumper. The only way I think we would have probably gotten a 180SX is if, like, for some reason came across the auction block and it was a GP Sports 180SX with that crazy aero kit that's Japan only. I have not seen one here in the States, and if we were to ever do a 180SX hatchback, or a 240SX hatchback for the street, we 100% need to get that kit because it is the sickest kit. Where do we go from here with this car? We're not 100% sure yet. We could go towards an SR swap, being that we actually have one. It is ready to go for this car. We just need to acquire all the other things like the fan shroud, the wiring harness. By the looks of the exterior, the teardrop wheels and everything that's going on with this car, we don't want to go away from that. It'll be fun to drive around town right now, just drop it, put some wheels on it. If we end up staying stock body, to set it off with teardrops in a 3-piece format, maybe do 17s, not go super crazy with 18s, or maybe even go with that old Dai Yoshihara championship-winning S13 Rocket Bunny V1 kit that came out for the S13 Coupe. Then we go with a different set of wheels in 18s. More than likely, it'll be a TE because Daryl loves TE 37s, which I don't hate it for this setup. But if it's a Rocket Bunny kit and we go TEs, then it'll look super cool. We can go with a really wide fitment and make it really planted to the ground. We are huge fans of the factory two-tones that Nissan came out with. They had kind of a mint colored base that had a lower anthracite bottom. Now, this color actually is not ugly. It's a really good color. The option that we could do is add like a more charcoal-based bottom half under that pin line that goes across like the bumper, the doors, the fenders, and make that more of a darker charcoal gray bottom. So it gives you that whole two-tone look. And I think that would really set this car off. So that way we don't have to do like paint jams, engine bay, and all that stuff, which engine bay we might do color to match on the outside of the body, because when we pull the motor out, we have it all available to us to do so. We'll replace all the hoses. I don't know if this car has ABS, but if it does, likely get rid of that shit. All right, so with the drivetrain in this S13 Coupe, now what we've been doing in our shop lately is de-Frankensteining our cars. So we no longer have other manufacturer engines in other manufacturer bodies. So Nissan stays with Nissan, Mazda stays with Mazda, Toyota with Toyota, and so forth. We're also doing that with my Lexus wagon, which you guys will soon find out what motor is going in that. But again, we're staying true to form. We already have an SR20 S13 blacktop motor set aside for this car. It's got a 5-speed manual stock gearbox. We aren't going to track this car, so it doesn't need to have a ZF gearbox or a Z32 or anything crazy, because for anything street related power-wise, it's going to be more than enough. We're not going to grenade the gearbox. We're not going to be doing clutch kicks and crazy clutch dumps. The car's going to be too nice for that, and being around the street, it's going to be a little bit too rowdy to do so. The car is going to be extremely lightweight. It's going to make good power. We're going to shoot for around that 325 to 350 horsepower range with good turbo noises and on flex fuel, and likely on a Link ECU tuned by Unrivaled Tuning. The interior in the car, although, is sort of modified. So it's got a vinyl wrap dash, fully stitched around the cluster and all the areas that meet the console. It's done actually rather tastefully. The dash doesn't have any gauges mounted to it. It's not all cut up. It's not all hacked to pieces. It's not cracked. It looks good. It's simple. Are we going to keep it that way? We're not 100% sure. If we could find a completely stock, uncracked OEM right-hand drive dash that is available, maybe we revert back to like that OEM style spec, put some nice Brid bucket seats in it that are the new Stradia that are reclinables. This car is just mainly going to be for street. It's going to be to enjoy it, take it out to meets, show it off, and just have fun with it, and just drive it, because S chassis are meant to be driven. Yes, they are getting older. Yes, parts are harder to come by. Everything's more expensive, but that doesn't mean you should stop driving it, because there's no other way to enjoy it. If you don't have this in a center round table in your living room house, can drive it. Just use it. Rip on it first through third and just get that smile on your face, and then go home. If you guys made it to the end of this video, thank you guys for that. Don't forget to drop a comment and hit subscribe. We're going to have more updates on these cars and all of our other JDM legends that are coming in the future. We have quite a bit more cars coming and being imported this year, so we'll see you guys next time.
Cars all have a different meaning to all of us, but this particular car, you know, when I grew up in southern Los Angeles, my neighbor, we all had this, you know, we lived in this cul-de-sac, and my brother and I were about 2 years apart, and I was a car kid right off the get-go. My dad sold me a 65 El Camino when I was 16 years old, and that was my first set of wheels. And next door was this beautiful 20-year-old gal that lived with her parents, and she was going to college, and she was actually just about ready to graduate from college, I think, and she came home in a brand new 73 RX4. And it was a two-door, it was a canary yellow car, and I was in love with this gal, man. She was super nice to me, and I was a dweeb little kid. Am I making this boring? Tell me if I'm making this boring. It looks good, but all the stuff that's coming out of your mouth is stupid.
The car is super clean. It's got those, what was I gonna say? Hi, my name is Jason Kim and I love S chassis. I think that's ideal for the way this car is gonna be set up. It's, again, super clean and dope. And talk shit in the comments, we love it. We talk shit back. No hurt feelings.
Alex and I bought an S13 convertible that a guy completely converted into an R32 Skyline GTR. So he bought a rear quarter clip, welded it onto the S13 convertible chassis, put a R32 GTR front clip on it, and it wasn't in perfect shape. It didn't line up perfectly all that well. So we took it to the next level, did some body and paint work on it, and it literally, sitting next to an R32 GTR, looked OEM, and it was a convertible. And I think it had an SR20 in it. And Sean, you know, Sean from Top Rank bought it from us, and I think he still owns it. We tried to hit him up to see if he'd want to sell it to us, and it looks like an R32 GTR convertible.
And cut. And it did not cut. And cut. And it did not cut. I'm probably wrong.
Freaking car is just stunning. Yeah, I don't want to, I'm live. Get off live.